The glass of this morning's guest is always half full. Meet him coming up next on All American People. Good morning. Welcome to All American People. This morning we're at Cagney's Old Place near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the vacation destination of the year, as voted on by visitors to allamericancities.com. We're focused on the silver anniversary of both the Grand Strand Optimist Club and the Cox Law Firm, and we're visiting with George Cox, one of the charter members and organizers of the Grand Strand Optimist Club and the founder of the Cox Law Firm. Good morning, George.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Glad
what about this Cagney's Old Place?
Just reeks with tradition, doesn't it?
It is incredible, isn't it? You've been here obviously many times.
Many times, yes.
And Flamingo Grill there on 71st Avenue, and
their sister location.
Their sister location. It is incredible. Obviously, kicking off the week with Dino and hearing about how much of this was put together, it's a beautiful story.
Well, I know I appreciate his hospitality, and probably you too.
Yes, absolutely. They're not open for breakfast nor for lunch, so we're in a little early. But the opportunity to get you in, and of course to think about the Grand Strand Optimist Club, and you moving down from Columbia, golly, a little more than 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a real success story as civic clubs go. We've been very lucky, great leaders, great committees. We do a lot of work. Children is our focus. And it's just celebrated a big 25th anniversary recently. And that's kind of a highlight, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, a lot of clubs don't last that long,
No.
and we've been very strong for a long period of time, so we're very proud of our heritage.
What was it when you got down? I mean, was there not an Optimist Club in the area? Or share with viewers real quick about what got you to the Myrtle Beach area.
Well, I was practicing law in Columbia at that time,
Right.
and there was a possibility of a merger with another firm in Columbia that had a satellite office here at the beach.
Right.
So they needed trial lawyers here, and we had a surplus in Columbia as we merged.
Right.
So someone was going to have to move down here to work the trial side. And I got to tell you, since I was originally born and raised in Virginia Beach, it wasn't a tough decision for me to make. So I got down here, and I had been involved with and the president of the East Columbia Optimist Club at the time.
Okay.
So naturally, I just thought, well, I'll just join an Optimist Club in Myrtle Beach when I move my family down here.
Sure.
Only to find out fairly quickly that there was no Optimist Club east of Florence.
Oh, you're kidding.
So
Florence was the closest one.
That was the closest one.
Wow.
So the question became, do you simply try to get involved with another organization or another club, or found an Optimist Club?
Right.
And we were able to found one, and been very, very pleased with the results.
That is incredible, George. You remember some of the folks that were involved with you? Obviously, you didn't do it entirely on your own. I mean, there were some other folks in the organization and chartering of a club. What is that like? I mean, is it the same today if you were going out to help start up an Optimist Club, let's say in Surfside Beach or in North Myrtle Beach? Would it be the same as it was 25 years ago, or are there different hurdles?
No, I think it would be the same. What you're looking for is people who want to get involved in a civic club, who want to help the community. And at that time, it's not easy to line up 25 or 30 people and you know, organizational meetings and luncheons.
Right. Sure.
and programs and things like that. But we were blessed with leaders early on, people like Eric Long, Fred Fry, Butch Ferguson.
Right.
And if all of those sound like male names, I'll tell you why the club really got successful after that. But all of our founders, we had 25 or 30 guys
Right.
To found the club, had the installation banquet and things like that. But that's not when the club really took off.
Yeah, there's got to be a punchline here. Yeah, and you said guys, so.
One of Optimist International at that time only admitted men.
Really?
In
the mid-'80s?
In the mid-'80s, our Constitution just provided for men, and then they went to an annual meeting, annual convention, and it was floated that maybe we should allow women to join. And do you know when the club really took off? when we started getting qualified, just great women in the club.
I love it.
And so they became the leaders of the club. They have women. Our women presidents have been fabulous.
Oh yeah.
And there was so much quality managerial ladies that were anxious to do something like that, to get into something like that.
Sure.
And it's been I say, pretty much a success story ever since.
That is incredible. It is tough for, not only for Cox Law Firm, the celebration there of the silver anniversary, but tough for any nonprofit organization or a club in any community to make it more than 25 years.
And quite frankly, these are difficult times right now for volunteer organizations, and I don't need to explain the environment to your viewers, but it's tough right now to recruit and keep good members and keep everybody working and spread the load a little bit so you don't burn anybody out.
Oh yeah. Well, I know Dr. Hilda Carter was instrumental in encouraging us to get you in to celebrate the silver anniversary of the Grand Strand Optimist Club and your law firm, Cox Law Firm. And of course, Hilda's a great example of a woman that got involved and has been instrumental, I believe, seeing some awards on her wall at her apartment of the number of folks that she has helped recruit to the club there.
I don't know exactly how many folks Hilda's recruited, but I think it's over 60, which is outstanding nationwide. Of course, Optimist is international in scope now. They're big in the Caribbean right now. Optimist International is huge in the Caribbean. Oh yeah.
Wow. Share with us about kicking off the Cox Law Firm. Obviously, if you were moving down here in the early 80s with that firm, it must have, I guess it opened the door to, if I'm using my math right, it must have opened the door for the Cox Law Firm to get kicked off.
Well, we were a satellite office of the main office in Columbia. But as you just viewed the scope and what was happening in Myrtle Beach at that time, it seemed clear that it was, there's a lot of work going on at that period of time, a lot of building, a lot of growth, and it was an excellent time, I thought, to perhaps spin out on my own. And as I look back, I'm glad I did. It was the right decision for me and my family at the time.
And you've remained a solo practitioner more or less that entire 25 plus years.
Yeah, since about 1985.
That is incredible, George.
But the practice has changed a lot. At that time, as I indicated to you, I was a trial lawyer.
Right.
So I was in the courthouse a lot. And then I slowly morphed my practice into a real estate firm. So the closings of the real estate practice, I've pretty much out of the courtroom now and just doing the real estate, which has its own challenges right now.
Yes, but
has been very good also.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I think it's, well, as you and your viewers know, it's cyclical, and we're going to be back.
Surely, absolutely.
You just got to be patient.
We had Dr. Nixon on earlier this week on Wednesday from Cherry Grove Beach, who's obviously been involved in real estate and seen a lot of real estate expand and contract.
Oh yeah, that family goes way back.
In his 80 years of living in that part of Horry County, it's fascinating to see, to hear about some of the contractions and clearly some of the expansions. So prayerfully, hopefully it'll continue to get back in the saddle. How about some fascinating cases? Have you know, on the real estate side, you probably, as you say, you're not on the trial side, but are any cases really stand out over your 25 years of service or even earlier? You're practicing since 1972, not to date you there, George, but that's almost 40 years.
Well, the trial practice was interesting. As you might imagine, although we feel very competent, there's not a lot of sizzle to a real estate closing. But one of the more interesting cases I had involved a plaintiff's case that shot out of Hurricane Hugo.
Really?
You recall the devastation in Surfside Beach during Hugo.
Oh yeah.
And my client came to me because he wasn't receiving compensation when the power went out. He owned a big delicatessen, big deli.
Right.
And you wouldn't think that much food could spoil when the power's not on for 30 or 40 hours. But it was an unprecedented storm, as you know.
Right.
And nobody wanted to pay him because the insurance company said it was wind and hail, and another one said no, it was water.
Right.
And the issue became, what was the exact reason that knocked the transformer out, that knocked the power off, that knocked your refrigerators out, that cost you a lot of money. And we were able to prevail at the lower level, saying that it was houses being bumped around and knocking into poles and knocking the power out, not wind and hail. And we went to the South Carolina Supreme Court, and ultimately we prevailed. But it was one of the first cases that really dealt with that fine differential between wind and hail and water damage and what was the resulting cause.
Yes, golly, George, that's exciting to have been involved into it. And you actually went up there and argued that case in the South Carolina Supreme Court. That must, I mean, a landmark case. That's a huge deal.
We did, but I guess what was really satisfying, it's sort of the little guy against the insurance giants, and and he prevailed, and we were very proud of that case.
That must be something that to hang your hat on. Aside from the 25 years plus of the Cox Law Firm and the 25 plus years of the Grand Strand Optimist Club, that's a wonderful thing. I see a number of fascinating things you've been involved with during your tenure here as well as before, and to think about the excitement for you, George. Of course, your involvement in athletics has been something, your service on the South Carolina State Athletic Commission, active involvement with the Youth Diamond Fund, which we want to talk a little bit about. Some other tremendous things I see. I think you said you'd be potentially of interest to our viewers in the PD.
Well, yes. If you recall, talking about baseball for a minute.
Right, yeah.
Florence got the first professional baseball team in this area locally when the Blue Jays had a team there.
Okay.
And the owner at the time, maybe 87, 88, moved the team to, called them the Myrtle Beach Blue Jays, but they were in Conway at the Coastal Carolina University's field there. But the facilities just weren't what Major League Baseball was looking for. In other words, you had to have dressing rooms and showers for umpires and the other team and things like that.
Right.
Under the collective bargaining agreement, it was clear that Myrtle Beach was going to have to find a new place to play, a new stadium. That Conway wasn't going to work, so we tried to keep baseball here by forming something called the Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams was an effort by some of us to try to build a stadium in the Myrtle Beach area. And at the time, there wasn't a lot of support from the county or the city of Myrtle Beach, but we had donations, and we spent a whole summer trying to raise enough money to show good faith to the city and the county. But Greg, it just wasn't doable at the time, and the team eventually left the area and went to Hagerstown, Maryland. But we kept the committee going, kept the fire burning, kept the ember smoking with the idea of getting baseball back here.
Right.
What we were hamstrung with was the fact that there are so few towns that have professional baseball teams, and just a finite number of big league teams, and therefore other teams. It's not like, to use a phrase local, it's not like beachwear stores where you can just put one up on every corner. And the conventional thinking was, once you've had a professional team and lost it, you'll never get another one.
You'll never get another.
But it was able to turn around. The environment was different in the 88, 89. The city was more amenable. The county said, we'll throw down, and that's why we basically got the stadium we've got right now.
That's in the late 90s, yes. They really came through.
Yes.